Wicked Witches, we have just had a beautiful Piscean dark moon ceremony, talking a lot about the Venus cycle. So this is a book by Lisa Lister, Venus. It's following the Venus journey, which is the story of Inanna, which I just read out in the ceremony. And as of Saturday, she's completed one of her cycles. So she goes, there's 7 gateways, which is her meeting up with the moon 7 times on her journey. She goes up and then comes back down again. And the journey has, so the 7 hookups with the moon in different signs. And in the myth of Inanna, she loses, like, it's the 7 chakra points. So she removes each of the kind of items of their accessories, but kind of armor, like a breastplate, or she's got like a belt and a breastplate and a throat choker and a chain around her head, and then a crown, and then a robe. I think the robe is the root one. And she loses each of them and then goes to see her sister Ishkagirl, who's the queen of the underworld, and she's hung from meat hooks above the altar as a blood offering for 3 days. And that's when Venus disappears into the sun. So she goes retrograde, and she disappears for 40 days and 40 nights, whereas what you may recognise from other such myths like Jesus. So she disappears she retrogrades for 40 days and 40 nights, and she disappears into the sun for 3 days, and then gets reborn, which also shows up in other myths. And she goes back through the seven gateways and gains each of the elements again. And so if you follow the Venus cycle, it's like following the moon. We follow the moon phases, we follow the sun phase, the solar phases with the equinoxes and the solstice. And this is another cycle to follow. I'm interested in working with it because Venus is my archetype, and I'm a woman, and it's a lovely thing to do. And I was saying, like, I do the solar cycle with people, I do the moon cycle online, and I do the Venus cycle for myself. So this is my own journey and processing, and I feel like it's kind of more about a personal journey and process. And whatever the word is, I can't remember the word, she starts retrograding on this Saturday, which is what, the 2nd? No, the 1st of March. She starts retrograding in Aries. And so this is passing the baton on from the Mars retrograde, which has just happened. And Mars was retrograding through Cancer. And that is the masculine smashing its way through all the things that keep us safe and feel protected. So Cancer is all about protection and the family and security and safety. And then Mars is like the fucking smashing masculine smashy destroyer. That's what's been going on in the world. It's this like toxic masculinity has just been backing shit up. And then the baton's then being handed over to the feminine, to the Venus energy, and she's going to be retrograding through Aries, which is the Mars energy. So she's going to be like, fuck you. I'm going to start smashing shit up. I'm going to say no. I'm going to refuse this. I'm going to use union and connectivity and emotion and art and creativity and talent and sexiness and pleasure to fight you. And so that's what's happening next. And we're going to be retrograding for till the 22nd of March is when she disappears for it's like the height of when she's the 2nd day of being disappeared in the sun. So 3 days, it will be the day in the middle. So this is like the depths of the darkness of whatever it is we go through. It's a journey. This is an inner journey. And then 12th of April, we've come out the other end. And being reborn from the evening star, which is what she's in at the moment, which again is more of a wiser, the older crone side of things, to being reborn to the morning star, which suggests hope and a new thing, a new energy, and regaining her power throughout the cycle, which is about an 15 to 18 month cycle. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's the first time that this has happened in Pisces. She's doing it in Pisces since, so it starts in Aries and then goes into Pisces, but it's happening in exactly the same day and place and time and everything as last year. The last time it happened, which wasn't last year, which was 2017, and that's not normal. It's very unusual for it to be happening in exactly the same place. So because it moves all the way through the zodiac, so she does it each time in a different sign, and the last time it was in Pisces, which is what it's going to end up being, it starts in Aries and moves into Pisces, was 2017, and that was the year that Trump first got inaugurated, and that was when Me Too happened, and you know, later on Black Lives Matter happened. Like, all these things have happened since. There was a big women's march in 2017, so it's almost like that was a test run for like, here's what's to come, and now it's the like that was the rehearsal, now it's the actual performance. We need to take all that we learned and all that we felt and all that we had going on then and step it up, be professional now. We need to stop what's going on in the world and use all of our powers, and that doesn't necessarily mean war or fighting ourselves. It means fighting for peace, but like obviously not in a just remember the thing I used to say as a teenager was fighting for peace and like fighting for virginity. So it's initiating peace. I'm leading a pilgrimage in September for peace, like how to make that happen and to hold that space and use what we've got creatively to do something with it. And yeah, so gonna pull some cards because I just had a warning that my battery's low. So yeah, it's the Pisces new moon in a 9 year. 9 is very Piscean in energy, so the veil is thinner this year. You're probably having a lot of dreams. The dreaming has probably been very active. Our ancestors, people passing on or have passed on, are very close to us right now. It's a year of like, we're gonna go on a massive new trajectory. Life is going to change. This year is about the life going 10. Next year is when it really goes. So yeah, we're and that was the case with everyone I was just talking to in the ceremony. We're all feeling that. Oh, I don't pull this very often. This is my rune. And so this is in the diamonds, kind of like the highest energy. I mean, I only just found this out. I've been so Ing is the rune, and there's all these diamonds down here and seeds, and it is about Ing is the seed of sperm, so it's the seed of potential. It's the new life. Like, you know, think about the sperm meets the egg, but that sperm is just, it's transformation. It's everything changing. It's all that potential of a new life, and it's the little spark. You've got this little spark that we've been gifted, but it's kind of everything, that power and that energy and that magic. And then the Pisces is the infinite that comes from. So the Hermit has its lantern, which is the opposite. So the Hermit's Virgo, and the ocean is Pisces, and it's this little lamp with this little spark in, but that's your spark that you were born with. And so it's the potential and the transformation. So this rune is literally about a new trajectory and transformation and a sperm popping an egg, nothing ever being the same again. So that being the overall for that is mad. Like, that's, I don't pull that very often. It hasn't been one in the middle for a long time. Joy, physical world, joy. So yes, how do we not fight war or battle? How do we bring joy to the physical world? Meet what's going on in the world with joy. It's a big thing. And safety and security, this is the Cancerian energy that Aries has just been destroying in our communication. So this is about community. So in our communication, being positive about community, and you know, people are fucking difficult and it's hard and the world's hard. So how do we say things that you know, our words create our world. So how do we speak lovingly about community and people? So fill the world with joy rather than with, you know, bullshit. abundance. So this is in our power and in our actions. Interesting, because that is about us not feeling scarce, when I think probably most of us do feel scarce. I mean, it's not in the physical, this is in our passion. It's to know that we've got everything. So yes, we might be feeling scarce physically in the world, like it's a difficult time, but we are still alive, we're still full of passion, we still have, I have the most amazing love that I've ever, I didn't even dream that I was going to have a love like that. Well, I'd hoped I did dream of a love like this, never thought it was going to become real. And so to just feel that abundance, that's the abundance that we've got, is the community, the love, the connections, the unions that we do have, is where the real abundance is. And then spiritually, our inner world, it's being direct. And this to me is, I said it tonight, I've always said, oh, I don't really believe in astrology, I just think it's a useful tool and a structure to follow things, you know, that, like by following the wheel of the year, the zodiac, by following the zodiac, by the end of the year, I have explored every aspect of my personality, and that's just a useful tool. But now I'm like, do you know what? I have noticed too many things, like Trump being inaugurated at the same time as this exact Venus retrograde happening. It's just mad. And the last time we had the 9-year, all the masters died. I mean, you know, it's just mad. The amount of things that I witness as reoccurring and happening in the world, and the reflections that are happening, it's the whole as above, so below. Now, I always can put a pinch of salt with these things, that like, we're meaning making machines and we find patterns and we look for patterns all the time, and that's what makes us human. Absolutely. But something about this experience for me, it's just all it does connect, and I'm more believing in it than I ever have done, because there's so much evidence happening for me, and I can always take the scientific slant and go, that's because we find meaning in things. I fully appreciate that, and yet for me, I believe in it more and more and more. So yeah, I feel like this directness, it's like really just allowing whatever you believe in your inner world and your spiritual world to just be like this arrow, and be direct and be clear and be like, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm a stand for, this is what I care about. I'm not going to let you smash it all, I'm not going to let you belittle it or scoff at it anymore, because you guys have had your time and you didn't do very nice things with it, and you haven't looked after anything. And so now it's time for the inner world and the Venusian energy and the feminine and the other to have a go. Get out of the way. So we've had oppression, literally what I was just talking about. We've been oppressed and we're being oppressed, and they've had their time. This was their arrows, this was them with their arrows, controlling the narrative, controlling the story. Satiety. So this is very fiery, but it's feeling satiated. So it is this sort of Venus in Aries energy. So like I was saying, it's not fighting for peace in a violent way. How can we feel, it's again the abundance actually in the south, in the fire, feel the abundance that we have in an inner world way, rather than in a possessions way. So rather than being capitalist, having this like, what actually matters. It's not about the gold, it's not about the fancy car. And then a feeling of completion, knowing that we're complete, we're perfect, whole and complete, that we were born for this, and everything is unfolding as it should. And I know that that can feel weird and scary and not totally true, but it's to step into that and to feel into that, because otherwise we're faced with scarcity and fear. So how can we meet this with love and courage and compassion, and knowing that our ancestors and our spirit team are all supporting us, like they're with us, the angels, the whatever it is that is your support network inwardly, they're there, and they've got their hands on your shoulders loving you, as has the earth. And this is what we're doing everything for. So nurture, it's Mother Earth. This is again the Cancerian and Venusian energy. it's time for the love and the sensitivity. So it is us looking after the planet and fighting for peace in a peaceful way, and not playing the oppression game, not playing this like nasty game, but meeting everything with love and compassion. So to do everything from a place of love and not fear is the thing. And wow, peace. I'm doing a pilgrimage in September with the planet, and it's for peace. And how can we, a pilgrimage for peace? This is what we need to have in the world. This is what we need to be creating. And that's ridiculous. It's just a bit like, it's made me feel quite funny. Let's see if there's a goddess that wants to give us some support. Responsibility, soul. So this beautiful goddess soul, let's see what she has to say. The Norse personification of the sun rides her golden chariot across the sky each day to bring forth the daylight from atop the heavens. She is the eternal bright bride of the sky, mentioned throughout both the poetic and prose Eddas. Her two horses, Early Riser and Swift, lead the way and are followed every night by her brother Mani, the personification of the moon. Skoll and Hati, the offspring of the great wolf Fenrir, chase Sol and Mani relentlessly in the hopes of eventually devouring them. While Norse mythology does not consider a Sol deity to be a focal point, Sol is held in such high regard that she became the origin for the words Sondagar or Sunday. Sol shines brightly through the clouds to inspire you with responsibility. Knowing that you're responsible for your reality might feel like a burden at times, but in the end it is the greatest gift one could hope to receive. Without some form of structure within our lives, we could lose our way along the path towards balance, looking for comfort in energies that seek to cause harm. Just as Sol takes charge of each day by lighting up the sky, you must take responsibility for yourself and your own well-being. When we stop looking to blame others, we glow with self-empowerment and cast out the shadows of negativity. Create or be created, baby. We create our reality. Our words are spells. So spell a world into being that is full of love and beauty. Take responsibility for reality and follow it all through love and peace and not fear. We have got this. We're only given the end of level bosses that we're capable of fighting, and this game has led us to this point. We had a practice run in 2017, and we had a kind of taster of what was to come this year, and now it's time. We need to be 8 years wiser, 8 years stronger, 8 years more powerful, 8 years braver, 8 years more loving. We are ready for this end of level boss. So believe and meet it all with love. Love you. Good luck. We got this. All right. See you the end on.